Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spin Rack. I'm here with my boys PD and Cal. Say what's up, gents.
What's going on?
Ready to rock.
Hey, we're ready to talk about the Rippaverse. The Rippaverse is on a tear, and they're dropping another comic universe, whatever you want to call it, t-shirts, everything. This one is called The Horseman. Welcome to Florespark. So hey, I'm gonna pass it over to my boy PD to give us a little bit more detail. PD.
No, we're watching the trailer. He has an animated trailer for his character.
How's he doing all this stuff?
He raised $1 million.
Oh, it's only for adults now, Cal. You have to step out now.
All right.
Who the hell is this guy? What's he want? Where's he come from? After every soldier I have with him and he kicks their ass. Away clean. With my money. Now what are y'all gonna do about that? Turn us loose, Tuna.
Let us do what we do.
Bitches. Oh, unique colors. Wow, he got it all. It doesn't look bad at all. Does not look bad.
Also,
what's up, Rippaverse family? It's Team Cain here, and I'll be voicing the Horseman for the upcoming Rippaverse animations. That's right.
wow.
This is a completely independent venture. I want to see it through.
Wow.
A well-produced, solid Western animation desperately needs to return to form.
Wow.
Definitely needed. The Rippaverse has a team that's prepared to consistently release episodic content. They are prepared. The Horseman would be a great start. So please help us make it happen. Head over to Rippaverse.com and become a member for as little as $5. Appreciate you.
Hey guys, I'm Eric July, the founder and owner of the Rippaverse. And now, The Horseman Welcome to Florespark by Chuck Dixon and Joe Bennett is up for pre-order. This is one of our most highly anticipated comic books, and I know you're going to enjoy it. But not only did the animation you just watched serve as the trailer for the book, it also is the pilot. Let me take some time to explain. We've done several animated trailers since the launch of Rippaverse Studios. During that period of time, we were familiarizing ourselves with the industry while also building our creative team. Our animations consistently improve, and we now believe that we have the foundation to take things to the next level. Simply put, we want to have an animated universe with long-form content. This animated universe will not simply exist on its own. It'd be an extension of the comics with accurate adaptations, specifically made to fit the animated format. But this isn't a pilot meant to shop this around in hopes that some mega corporation will pay us to pick it up and then, run it into the ground. This is more of a proof of concept for the audience in hopes that you like what you see, so we can do this independently. As you see, our quality is top notch, and if we have the time and resources to produce, we can create awesome competitive content for your enjoyment. Horseman would be a great starting point, voiced by the legendary Dean Cain. That said, animation is much different from comics when it comes to production. It takes a bigger team to produce, and of course, it's far more expensive. And getting a financial return from it is a different animal, especially in this digital age. With a comic, we can create and sell the physical copies, which dominate the market. With animated content, it's far more difficult to get that return. You'd have to invest a lot in it before you ever have a chance to make that money back. That's why it's far more attractive for people to sell off the rights to a big studio. Doing that is a lot less risky, and of course, course, they'll just pay you. But here's our plan and pitch. Our long-term goal is to house long-form content on our membership platform at Rippaverse.com. Basically, it'll have a streaming service element. Eventually, once we can justify it, certain works would be distributed on other platforms with hard copies such as Blu-ray. If we ever hit 5,000 paid members of any kind, we'd finish episode #1 of The Horseman. It'd have at least a 10-minute runtime. We'd release that on our social media platforms so most people can view it in hopes that it would invite newbies to become members. Once we hit 10,000 total members, we commit to completing the first season of The Horseman, which would be housed exclusively on our platform. Right now, the comics and merchandise pay for the comic books. That'll always remain our primary focus. The memberships, which come with awesome perks, we hope to be what funds Rippaverse Studios projects. I love to keep our animators busy and build Rippaverse Studios to be the next big indie producer. So head over to Rippaverse.com and become a paid member if you want to support this plan. Perks right now include merch and shipping discounts, but we're also doing a membership overhaul. Soon, we will be adding forums so you can nerd out with the fandom. We'll also do plenty of member-only content and streams so we can let you in on the process creatively. The list of perks will continue to grow. So please share this video out to all of your friends and family and become a member over at Rippaverse.com and go pre-order The Horseman, Welcome to Florespark by Chuck Dixon and Joe Bennett.
I'm impressed. It seems like a pretty slick presentation. It is really good.
I would say this is definitely a dream. This is a dream as a kid.
We're talking about people, you know, there's money behind this. And Cal, you said that they sold $1 million worth of
Yeah, raised about $1 million if I remember correctly.
Wow, impressive. I mean, look, I was not a big Rippaverse fan. I did read the comic that PD gave us. We reviewed it. It wasn't bad at all, actually. And
Alpha Core, but by the same team. But this seems to be, well, because that's more like in the vein of what we see in the characters. Was it the superhero characters in The Boys and something like that? But this seems definitely like I guess as it's been going on, they've been stepping up. But this is the dream. This is the dream of doing your comic books, doing your animation, and we've seen the struggle that the Image guys did when they were trying to keep the content in house, whereas the Turtles, they obviously sold off the rights to TV and film and animation, and all that got done. And the Turtles keep coming back, where the Image guys were like, I want to keep a piece of the studio. I want to try to work with a studio that I can partner with. We got, you know, Wildcats, Youngblood. I think the Savage Dragon was the cartoon that was going for a little while. And then we have the debacle, which, you know, ultimately forced Jim Lee to leave Image, which is the Gen 13 cartoon, as you can see, which was wholly supported by Jim, and at the same time, it said it was from information from Jim Lee that was wholly crushed by Disney, saying they didn't want to see, you know, animated characters smoking, none of this stuff for kids. But it's a different time. We have Invincible, a lot of stuff. We even have Family Guy that has a lot of violence and stuff like that. Which so I think this is actually a dream. It has the artists I'm a fan of, Joe Bennett, and it's crazy that it's not bigger with all of his fame from Immortal Hulk, but I think this is in vain, and the animation looked pretty good that they had. So it looks like, looking at the early animations, it looked like they gotten better as it's gone along. So, and it's a simple model. Let's think the idea, the model of the subscribers getting from 5,000 to get one episode, and 10,000 to get a season. Seems interesting. It seems cool. Seems like it can work out. And once this thing has hit its mark, when I receive it, we'll be reviewing this comic book too.
So, Cal, what do you think?
I think he has a target audience, and for what I'm seeing, I think they're going to enjoy it. Not for me, though.
I mean, this may be it may be on the basement floor or the ground floor or something that's going to explode. So I'm very
I
interested.
don't.
I'm very
I
intrigued.
really don't know. I really do not know. I mean, I respect Chuck Dixon as a writer. He's, follow a lot of stuff. I've always enjoyed what he's done. I just really, I don't know. I really don't know where this goes from here. If I'm just going to take the trailer in terms of the characterization I should expect from this character, this isn't a character that I would necessarily, dive into. I hear some good stuff about it. I might, take a tumble into the Rippaverse, but I just haven't heard anything or seen anything that's made me want to go read any further or read at all, to be quite honest.
Got it. Okay. I mean, look, I'm interested. I'm always interested in supporting creators. This seems interesting, definitely within our wheelhouse. So I'm all for it. And the production value looks really good for the animation. What he's put together here looks really, really good. I wish you also would have seen more of Chuck Dixon and Joe Bennett actually talking. Seeing what they
that might have sold me more on this if I had heard something from Chuck Dixon. That might have sold me more.
But Eric July, I don't know if that's his real name, but Eric July, he's definitely an advocate for his own stuff, and he's, as far as we're concerned, he's doing a good job there. So, hey, I'm down for it. I give it a thumbs up. I want to check it out. Petey, close this out.
Close this out.
What's your final thoughts?
Final thoughts? No, it's definitely, as a kid, the thing about doing comic books and then doing your own initially, then working with the talent, being smart enough to say that I need to involve some talent where the talent is around. And that also helps to get your product out on time, which it seems like he's doing. There's been some others some of the big names, and only two big names that I've heard that that have been doing this regularly that haven't hit their mark. So it's good to see. I mean, I wasn't expecting to get, when I bought the Alpha Core, it felt like it was going to be something that was going to come much later, but it came like right away. I think it was after the initial sale of it. So it was interesting to see that I got the product immediately, and it seems like they're on schedule. They want to do it. And Joe Bennett, obviously a workhorse, because obviously Chuck Dixon also, because he has a body of work, but Joe Bennett's been working well before, Rob Liefeld's Supreme. Like, he did the future stuff, the regular present day stuff of Supreme, and he's been doing tons of Marvel stuff like that to what's the name. So you have a workhorse in Joe Bennett, and that has just been doing monthly work for this since the 90s. So that's great to see that he's still doing stuff, still doing quality stuff. And I just can respect it as far as a kid, want to do your comic books, and then I would have never thought about doing animation. But it seems like it's a McFarlane kind of approach to say, all right, I'm going to try this. I have a format. I have a plan. If I hit these marks, it could happen. So it's not saying that it has to happen, but at least it seems like they might get to do the one episode. I can safely say I think they would get to that. With a success, you would expect more that he's had, but I would say they definitely would get a first episode out, and then we'll see what happens. If we can get a buzz from one episode, who knows what could happen. But it's interesting to see someone take this approach and go to animation and have a comic book and an animation at the same time going on, type of deal, which really close after it, not after a number of issues. So yeah.
But I mean, I don't remember if you remember, we got interviewed by a studio, Lion Studio. I don't know if you recall that.
Lion Forge? Lion Forge?
Lion Forge, I think, yeah. So Lion Forge Studio, and then they had a comic that came out originally, I think, in Dark Horse, and then they're now making into that female character. They're now making that character into a TV show, which I think has already been greenlit and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah. But this one thing is, this seems it really would work well on that. What is it called? Tsunami, I think it is. It used to be on Cartoon Network in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's definitely a title that could probably work there. But do you think that some of his Comicscape is being bought? So I know this is going to be controversial, but the question is this good, or is it because he's being backed by the Comicscape?
He's not. It's not. The thing is, there's been a big kind of blow up of that thing where the two, like obviously was it Richard Meyer, your boy Zach, he kind of separated himself from it.
Okay.
Ethan Van Sciver's kind of has the feel of Mr. Comicsgate, but the two of them are kind of like they're like the rock stars, and they're doing the rock star stuff, where they're not putting stuff out. Some of the other people that kind of struggle with comic books, just like the same way we are, they don't necessarily fall under the Comicsgate thing. I think that's really Ethan Van Sciver took it and he made it into like this brand, the thing. At some point, people follow, but people who are friends with them, like I guess Graham Nolan, some of those guys that are associates, they're not like comics. They bring everything down. They're just trying to give you classic type of comic books. I've obviously Eric July definitely has Liberia. What is the political party that he's with? Like, what's it?
Libertarian?
Libertarian, thank you. So there's that stuff on his channel, but ultimately he was cool at one point, but they're now the Ethan Van Sciver has been attacking his stuff, saying the comic books aren't good, blah blah, this, that, and the other. But I say your success is what you put out. So he's putting out stuff, so he has this negative. I bring that all up to say there's a negative sentiment from Ethan Van Sciver, so it can't be on the umbrella of that anymore, because the lead guy is just like, and Eric and Richard Meyer, they're kind of just going and saying all this stuff is trash. So if there is a Comicsgate thing going on, it's he's pushing against it at the same time. So,
well, I mean, interesting. I know the left is also like they hate him, or they used to hate what he was doing. But hey, you got to do what you got to do, right?
do you want to see? I guess before we go,
Well, the Comicsgate stuff factors in. I doubt he would have had the platform and would have had the visibility and the name recognition to raise the amount of money without that. So that is a factor. You can't. That's inescapable at the end of the day. The fact that Van Sciver and him may not necessarily be on the same page, that is what it is. But where he's standing right now, in comparison to the average comic creator, Comicsgate does factor in. That's something that should be overlooked.
Well, I'm not saying that the lead people of Comicsgate are, trying to torch his work. So it's like to have Comicsgate, which was your initial success, be the people who are kind of attacking you now, saying you're part of, like what's that thing? What's that? It's like. What's that? Animal Farm. It's like it turns into he's the problem. You're a part of the the thing. So it's just having those. Only bringing up that to say that he's
but the guys who are giving money to this project, and the guys who were still going to give money to this project, are the guys who believe that this is going to be standard comic book stuff. It's not going to have an agenda. It's not going to be male bashing. It's not going to, pander to women. This is just going to be good storytelling, good character development. That's what they expect to get. That's what they're expecting to get from this, I presume. And I think that they believe that based out of what they were supportive of comics.
Mm. Well, yeah, that's definitely a portion of it. I just also feel that there's a lot of, any kind of Kickstarter is vanity press. So it's going to your fans and kind of getting the interest in there. So there's still in between Comicsgate, there's the people who were trying to do the stuff, and he definitely was a part of it. So there's definitely part of the thing. But there's also, once you have those fans, you got to keep them. You can't just be fueled on the political stuff. Be something else there. But I just want to bring up that stuff just to say that he's got a negative. There's this whole back and forth going on, which is crazy, which, ultimately, it's like, the Marvel guys going at each other while they're working on the same books. It's like, oh, this guy sucks. No, so that's something. But anyway.
Yeah, and they're saying he sucks. It's saying it sucks and because they're not really creators, and he hasn't been creating stuff. I mean, like, what, you have to have a pedigree working for Marvel or DC before you can take your stuff seriously? No, I think that's crazy, right? you should be able to if you have an idea, and like you just said, Cal, that if there's people out there who are interested in it, let display it. Let me tell you, I'm gonna say it right now. I'm not a big fan of Family Guy. I cannot stand the art style. I'm not a big fan of the Simpsons. When I saw that, not my cup of tea.
So
But you know what? If you would have told me 20 years ago that this show would still be on, I would have said no way possible. But you can see there is an element of people who like that stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I can appreciate it, especially if they have that longevity. They've been able to show that they have something there. Whether or not you like it, the way it looks, the way it's written, or whatever, So I say, go get a life, man. And like the Jamaicans say, blood fire.
yeah, yeah.
I got that right, Cal?
Yeah, okay.
Just want to make sure I got it. I mean, there's others in the repertoire I learned, but I don't want to be too pissed.
Yeah. Keep it clean.
I wouldn't expect him to do any of the bad ones. And what is it? He likes mix up the words.
The comic market today is pretty much what you see with the Rippaverse. They want to see, oh, you made all this money on your own? Okay, come work for us.
What did you say, Cal? Can you say it again?
I said the way comics work now, it's not so much that Marvel or DC. It's like you got to do well there before you get, in the accolades. Marvel or DC is like, hey, have you published anything on your own? They were doing like American Idol stuff before, American Idol, because at some point the door just closed and you couldn't send them solicitations. They weren't doing any sort of classes for new talent. It just got tighter and tighter. And then it became, hey, oh, what? Look, you did Powers for Image. You got a nice following. Why don't you come over here and write for us? You sold how many comics over here? You got to come over here and write for us. So what he's doing is like, yeah, if you go over here, you make, you show that you have a following. Somehow magically now the door opens. But that was something that started with Quesada, where he was going after like novelists, guys who were like top 10 New York Times bestseller list novelists. Hey, why don't you come over here and, and write this comic? Thinking that, okay, we can, kill two birds with one stone. We'll get some new readers in through this guy. And then we can also say the comic books are higher brow, as people always think that they're kid stuff. But then that just closed the door even more, because it became, okay, if you're going to write this book, then what's the following that you have, to justify putting you on this book? As before it was, okay, we're going to actually bring people in who want to do this. We're going to cultivate talent. Now it's like, hey, if you got to go out there and sell before you can get in here. So it's if he does this and it's like really good, then yeah, you could definitely see him working for Marvel or DC, or on one of the other, well, it's really Marvel and DC. But it used to be the reverse, where like, hey, even if you were doing the indie stuff, if you weren't working at Marvel or DC, people could say, oh, but you never did anything for the big two. And now it's really the reverse at the end of the day. So of course there are kudos to be had for working for Marvel or DC. That's going to be the biggest exposure overall.
I definitely agree. That was definitely the plan. I think, who's that guy? Robert Kirkman has showed you how you could go back to the work for hire stuff, whereas he showed you where he said he wasn't going to do it anymore, and then now he's in there as a partner, whereas I don't think a lot of people get to that point where they stay established as much as they can and make their name. But of course, if you have a TV show, you have 2 TV shows under your belt, then you can kind of write your own ticket. And not to say that the Rippaverse will get to that part, but most people don't.
Why not?
Huh?
So why not? Let's give him. Let's see.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying anything is. I think the model is good. I think it's an interesting thing. I like to see it work out, but it's with having all of the negative sentiment come out there of having people just wanting to torch it, and comic fans being negative, wanting IDW to die. Like once this thing hits a dip, like the little bit of dip that his thing had, they were starting to go at it. So
comic fans don't want IDW to die; they want everything to die.
Yeah, so I can't, once they decide to turn, that's the main point where I bring it up, the comics, the negative thing from the Comicsgate thing, where you had someone like Ethan Van Sciver saying how great the book, whatever his first book was, that made the tons of numbers that it did, now saying it was trash. So it's just like, and then people going and Richard Meyer going in, and then you see that, and then I think it took Ripper. I mean, I listened to it, but it took him a little while to figure. All right, these guys aren't. I can't party with these guys no more. And this is my just loosely listening to the stuff. I don't know it exactly, but if Eric July is watching, we'd love to interview you to talk to you about this stuff and your plans.
Hey, enough respect to what you've done, Eric July, and let the haters hate. That's all I say. Let the haters hate. They ain't doing nothing but sitting on their hands and hating. While you're just going up and up.
What if he's at the last thing? What if he's at the con? We got to bum rush him if he's at the con.
Yeah, we'll talk to him and see what's up. You know what I'm trying to say? I mean, we don't agree with everything, but you know what? We give mad credit to those who try. And he's succeeding.
Somebody will.
Hey, anything else, Cal? Wrapping this up?
Yeah, let's wrap.
All right. So, Spin Rack
out.
Out.